Hi there, and welcome to the tarot reading for our world for the month of June 2024. I asked the cards for a helpful perspective regarding religion, the Bible, the Elohim, and the writings of Mauro Biglino. The card drawn for this question was the Hanged Man. And that indicates that something is going to be turned upside down, most likely religions in general, at least. And this card also, the Hanged Man, is the card of the traitor. And it signals the end of an entrenched pattern of beliefs and an introduction to the truth. So since January, more information has continued to come out. When I learned that the U.S. Congress had passed a law back in December of 2023, ordering all government agencies and institutions to turn over whatever information, observations, and knowledge of extraterrestrials and UFOs that they had, and that they were to do so by October 18th, 2024, I was really surprised at the synchronicity of this order and the information brought out by Mauro Biglino, Paul Wallace, and others. It's like, whoa, okay, this is all coming out at the same time. So it raised some concerns, and those concerns became the basis for this month's questions. I also want to note that I did something a little different than I usually do. Usually I have diverse questions on very different topics, and I will pull one card for some insight on one question. But I didn't do that this time. Instead, I built a small scenario, laying out a couple pieces of information that were coming together all at the same time, and then ask the cards for insight into the overall impact on our situation. So let's begin. So here's the question, the situation that I laid out. As the correction of certain mistranslated words in the Bible comes out, changing our concepts of God, our ideas of history, our beginnings as humans, and pointing to the presence of ETs, this will be complicated by getting the truth from governments about their communications and work with extraterrestrials. So, given if this is the case, what will be the effects on religion, on government, on money, and on the population? That's us. So the cards drawn in relation to the scenario were regarding religion. I drew the star, number 17 in the major arcana. Regarding government and the impact on government, I drew the 6 of Swords. And regarding money, I drew the Ace of Pentacles. And for population, I drew the Strength card. Wow. So let's look at these questions. Question number 1, what will be the impact on religion? So the card drawn here being the Star and a major arcana card, this indicates that this whole religious thing is going to be a major lesson for every priest, every bishop, and every believer on the planet. The Star is a card whose core message is, it's a perfect message actually, its core message is, it's time for reconnection to divinity. Time for reconnection to divinity. This is extremely appreciated, exquisitely appreciated, perfect timing, because our question centers on religion. and what will occur as these changes come about. I didn't really ask about a particular religion because I was really seeking a more comprehensive answer. And according to this card, it doesn't matter which religion you subscribe to, all will be heavily impacted. In looking at the star card, we see a naked woman on the edge of a pool of water. One foot is on land and the other foot is in the water. She has a pitcher of water in each hand, and she's pouring 3 streams of water into the pool and 2 streams of water onto the land. Behind her on a hill is a tree with a large, long-beaked bird in it, and that beak is a downward curving beak. There are 7 white stars and 1 large, bright yellow star in a light blue sky. There are a few dark-colored flowers here and there. They're not very bright around the pool, and some mountains in the distance. The naked woman symbolizes that something in relation to religion was hidden or covered in lies and subterfuge, and that it has now been uncovered, and the naked truth has been revealed. Water is the universal symbol of emotion and the feeling aspect of consciousness, and the foot in the water indicates that there will be a lot of emotion in connection with this scenario. However, the foot on land says that we must remain grounded, which is really important whenever there are big changes in life. The pool symbolizes not only the subject area of religion, but also the pool of creation. And the story that religion has been propagating is connected to that pool as well. Religions are ways of structuring beliefs and lifestyles. Because a woman is standing in the pool rather than a male, it indicates that this new information about the Bible, our history, ETs, all of that, it's going to have a profound effect on us, on our lives, and what we believe in. This effect, however, will renew and regenerate us because the feminine energies are considered to be generative and regenerative. The 2 pitchers that the woman is holding symbolize our contribution to the pool through our own existence. And they remind us that we are creators as well, free to draw the energy of creation from that pool and pour it where we see fit. The 5 streams of water being poured out of the 2 pitchers symbolize the 5 areas of life considered to be the core of spiritual life. And those 5 areas are our physical form, our needs, our worldview, our dreams, and our self-expression. Those are the 5 core areas of spiritual life. Note that physical form is first in the lineup because form is the key to all the rest of a spiritual life. Form determines function and potential. So the tree on the hill, kind of to the background a little bit, symbolizes the importance of the family of humanity. And the large bird with the long downward curving beak symbolizes the ibis, an ancient symbol of wisdom, healing, and the ability to put together a world of our own. Since we have been under the thumb of religion and its messages, its shaping of our world for many generations, the idea that we can put the world together the way we want is something of a revolutionary thought. Traditionally, the ibis appears during stormy times of great chaos, and it carries the message to those populations involved that they are moving through a transition that appears to be a near-death experience, but that there will be a return to life. Often this includes the need to face the fact that their king or their government may have been stealing from them, and it's time for honesty and justice to return. And since our question is about religion, we have to ask ourselves, have the religions been stealing something from us? Think about that. The 8 stars in the sky represent the 7 main chakras that maintain our physical form, plus an 8th chakra of connection to the light body. These stars remind us that we are made of light, and we are connected to the stars, as well as other forms of life who are living among those stars. I think that's really a very appropriate reminder in the light of our question involving ETs. That large yellow star also symbolizes the sudden expansion of consciousness, expansion of awareness in a population that becomes aware of something they were not really paying attention to in the past. And that star may also point to the presence of others in our world. The blue sky calls for clear, calm contemplation of our situation. And those dark flowers scattered in the grass point to helpful or beneficial or maturing aspects of life that are present but have not yet blossomed into full living color. So let me say it again. The star is a card whose core message is reconnect to divinity. Since our question is about the effect of a changing translation of the Bible and government acknowledgement of ETs, this message is both startling and heartwarming. When it comes to God, has religion been more of an impediment than a help in establishing a connection to the divine within each of us? This card says yes. And the impact of the new information we are dealing with will begin to change that. The star is a card of inspiration, hope, and renewal after difficult times of change. It signals a time when secrets are revealed. And the best way to deal with these will be silence within and letting yourself know. The warning associated with this card is to avoid becoming preoccupied with what was lost. It urges us to focus on understanding our value in the cosmos while making time and space for spiritual renewal. We're going to need a renewal of our own spirit. The message here is that a new understanding of the Bible and our history will release us from the bondage of ignorance and service to the religions of man, allowing us to rediscover our divinity. It will open us to deeper intuitions, potentials, and the personal gifts that will allow us to live more fully and communicate across the many worlds that exist. Question number 2, what will be the impact on government? It's kind of a tough card here. The 6 of Swords came up regarding the impact on the governments of our world. This is a card that says we are all in the same boat together. And there is a need for immediate action, even abandonment of a situation, a locale, or a system. It carries a call for someone to step up and navigate a course for the greater population to follow, but not just anyone. It must be someone with the strength and intelligence to navigate wisely, connecting the old world and the new without bringing the old problems along. Without this navigator, we could fail to find our way through these turbulent times and end up succumbing to the dangers surrounding us. What are those dangers? They are indecision, feeling inferior or incapable, or letting others decide our path only to end up where we don't want to be. When you look at this card, you see a man standing at the back of a boat or ferry using a long black pole to push them along. A woman and a child are huddled together on the boat, and all three figures have their back to the observer. The message here is don't look back. The water on one side of the boat is turbulent, and on the other side it's quite calm. There's a sense of urgency in this card, and the possibility of being forced to leave a situation in a disorganized, unprepared hurry. The card warns against leaving decisions to the last minute and then having to flee in a rush. The sky is gray, calling for detachment. But since we are talking about government here, it may be very difficult for those running the government to detach from their old ways, or to find, recognize, or follow a leader who navigates differently, or one who will listen to people who are calling for something new. There are 6 swords. They're standing upright, 3 on each side of the boat. Swords always represent the mind, thoughts, and the intellect. And in this formation, they warn of bringing the old ideas and prejudices into the new situation. They kind of form a barrier on each side. Don't bring that old stuff in. In this setting, they also act as antennas, and they encourage us to use our heads, to monitor the direction things are going, and to be consistent as everything changes around us. Our question involves impacts on governments due to changes in belief systems, understanding of history, and the presence of people from other parts of the solar system or the galaxy. With these factors bearing down on them, the demand for consistency would be a really tall order, especially since there's so much corruption in government. The 2 different conditions of water on either side of the boat reinforce the vast differences between the old world and the new, something that those in government may find exceptionally challenging to navigate. Even though you can see in the background of the picture a new world, a new horizon, not far ahead. The black pole, handled by the navigator at the back of the boat, symbolizes great uncertainty and thus a need to keep our feet on the ground. The boat only moves forward when the pole is touching the ground and pushing in the right direction. So staying grounded would be doubly important if the government is not able to navigate the changes to a new world, and we end up breaking up as a nation, then needing to reform as sovereign regions. The 6 of Swords was originally a card of science, especially the science of mind and consciousness. It is known, in fact, as the Lord of Science, and it's aligned with the sign of Mercury, or the sign of Aquarius, and the planet Mercury. Together, Mercury and Aquarius bestow the gifts of being able to see and communicate new thoughts, new ideas, and processes in a way that everyone understands, thus bringing everyone into the circle of life. A governing body that could do this would be a blessing. Keywords for the 6 of Swords are journey, transition, conflict, separation, great amounts of mental activity, logic, communication, scientific approach, urge to make lasting, labor, path, navigator, relocating, transitioning to a safer environment, and gaining perspective. So question number 3 was, what will be the impact on money? Surprisingly, the card drawn here is the Ace of Pentacles. This is a card we saw in February in response to a question about the new timeline we are on. And now we are asking about the impact on our money and financial system, and this card reinforces the idea that something new is manifesting, and we will be unable to play both sides of the fence much longer. This card represents the borderline between two worlds, between the old world and the new. It represents the unwillingness to live, trust, and work with a financial system that doesn't match the ideas, visions, worldview, and dreams of each of us. When you look at the Ace of Pentacles, you see a cupped hand coming from the clouds, holding a very large yellow disc with a pentagram on it. The hand holding the pentacle is cupped, and this brings in a bit of cup energy. Now, cups are all about flow and unity with others, whereas pentacles are all about the material, financial, and physical world in which we enjoy nature and develop our various cultures. This is quite a powerful combination when considering the fact that money is how we survive. Since our question is about the impact of a change in our understanding of the Bible and the presence of extraterrestrials, you would think that money would be hardly impacted. However, the suggestion here is that the impact would be great enough to seed an entirely new world, and we would find ourselves having to make a clear choice. Do we accept the new information and what it's telling us? Or do we stay with the old dogma and the old world? No fence straddling is allowed by the Ace of Pentacles. You have to choose. The pentagram on the pentacle is the symbol of we humans and the magical transformative energies at our fingertips if we should develop those. The bright yellow symbolizes consciousness itself, and this is a reminder that all things in the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual worlds are the result of consciousness. The disc has a double line around the edge of it, symbolizing that the situation brings a double-edged warning with it. A new world can be a wonderful thing, but it would mean a whole lot of serious change for everyone. Are you ready? Since we're asking about money, the Ace of Pentacles warns that cutting oneself off too early from the supports of the old financial system could cause unnecessary suffering. Yet, failing to learn the new ways, new ideas, or make the basic changes required by the new system could leave you paralyzed and unable to function in that new world. This requires careful, intuitive monitoring. And the ace always symbolizes the individual, pointing to the fact that the correct action may be different for each one of us. Following the crowd without consulting your inner guidance could be a mistake. Toward the bottom of the card, there's a beautiful green landscape with lilies growing in the foreground and a rose-covered fence with an arched opening forming a door or garden gateway. It doesn't really actually have a door or gate to obstruct passage. It's just open. It's an opening. While roses are beautiful, they are quite thorny. And this is a recognition that while we may see our world as having great beauty, comfort, and inspiration, there's no escape from the thorny issues that may arise as our understanding and use of money shifts. The lilies represent new beginnings, a resurrection to a more natural way of living and working. Lilies also symbolize personal growth and the flowering of full human potential with less stress. They also call for an alignment with nature, and they hint at the need to use money to clean up the messes that have been made in the current world. Since extraterrestrial groups do not generate waste, and they do not like the pollution we have created, there may be an additional impact on money as we use it to develop technologies that do not create waste. Aces represent new beginnings and pure potential, and the Ace of Pentacles represents starting over with a new approach to money, materials, business, and trade. This would impact every aspect of daily life. The Ace of Pentacles is known as the root of the powers of earth. The root. A very suitable description for money as a major foundation of sharing and enjoying business and trade. Key words for this card are inspiration, decisiveness, new forms of income, rational, full of ideas, seed, steady effort, tangible reality, security, stability, self-determined, joining together, joy, contentment, career changes, and documents related to business or practical matters. Question number 4. What will be the impact on population? That's us. For this last question, the Strength card came up, which is sometimes called the card of Beauty and the Beast, or of Hercules and the Nemean lion. Beauty and the Beast is the story of learning to love in spite of appearances, and then discovering that everything has transformed because of the power of love. Hercules and the Nemean lion is the story of a hero who must slay a lion with his bare hands if he is to complete his journey to immortal life among the gods. Where are we going? When you look at this card, you see a woman in a long white dress running one hand through the mane of a red lion, while the other hand rests on its maw, like up on the nose kind of thing. She has a crown of flowers in her blonde hair and wears a trailing sash of flowers around her waist. There is an infinity symbol above her head and a tall, singular blue mountain in the background. The landscape is green and the entire sky is bright yellow. The Strength card calls for courage. The courage to face despotic leadership and abuse of power. It is a very powerful card when it comes to the population because it carries a key message and an even stronger warning. The message is that it's time to set aside ego and competition and move to cooperation based on intuition and courage. The very strong warning is that we are in a time of life and death betrayal. Life and death betrayal, where things are not what they seem. The warning was echoed by the ibis in the star card above, which warned of a near-death experience and that things are not as they seem. Since our question has to do with the combined impact of a changing translation of the Bible, the emergence of a new history, and the presence of extraterrestrials, the woman in white symbolizes the need for feminine input to soften and direct this impact. Woman is considered to be the lion tamer who challenges the forces that live in each one of us. Women have a tendency to work through problems instead of fighting over them. The red lion in this card is an ancient symbol of consciousness, lust, sexuality, and the need to tame the wild animal instincts and fiery passions by cultivating will. The ability to tame and refine the will has long been viewed as part of the process of alchemy and redemption. Why would this refined will be needed? Likely because people would range from irritable to caustic to angry to vengeful when they discover they've been misled, lied to, and manipulated for centuries. There would be a need to redirect the energy behind that anger into something productive. The flowers in the crown and the sash are reminders that life will blossom anew if we can take that new information and go in a new direction. The infinity sign over the woman's head tells us that the challenge we face is a forever challenge, that life is a roller coaster. Things are always changing, always moving between positive and negative, up and down. And it takes attention and focus to ensure that we're not just going in circles, but are moving ever higher in our frequencies and potentials. The green landscape all around them indicates the possibility that we lack experience in dealing with massive changes like those being presented to us. And the singular blue mountain hints at what we call a perfect storm of issues that all combine into one big challenge and hit all at once. Oh my. The yellow sky calls for an intelligent and sharply aware response due to the warning of betrayal. The betrayal here would be related to the Nemean lion in the story of Hercules. In that story, the lion abducted and ate beautiful maidens. Maidens are the symbol of the innocent and the unaware. And when a warrior would come looking for his maiden, the lion would shapeshift into a beautiful damsel. As soon as the warrior got close to the damsel, the disguised lion would devour him. And the moral of the story is the warning to avoid being betrayed by appearances and to use one's intuition to look beyond appearances because, let me say it again, things are not always as they seem. The Strength card is associated with the Sun and the constellation of Leo, both of which have to do with power and leadership. So key words for this card are power, energy, courage, discord, disgrace, dignity, individuality, sexuality, leadership, nobility, paternal qualities, creativity, abuse of power, and generativity. So that's it for this tarot reading. Let's sum up what we've said here. So we had a situation, the scenario, and that was, as the correction of certain mistranslated words in the Bible comes out, changing our concepts of God, our understanding of history, our beginnings as humans, and pointing to the presence of ETs, this will be complicated by getting the truth from governments about their communications and work with extraterrestrials. If this is the case, what will be the effects on religion, on government, on money, and on the population? And the impact on religion, for that we drew the Star card, whose core message is that this impact of these changes will offer a reconnection to our true divinity. The ibis sitting in the tree is the sign of a return to life after near-death experiences caused by great storms in the family of humanity. I think we're there. We may rediscover the idea that we can put the world together the way that we want. It's quite a thought. For the impact on government, I drew the Six of Swords, whose message is we're all in the same boat together, and there is a need for immediate action, even abandonment of a situation, a locale, or a system. Pretty blunt there. The Six of Swords carries a call for someone to step up and navigate a course for the greater population to follow, but not just anyone. It must be someone who's able to navigate while staying grounded and who's able to connect the new world to the old in order to build bridges over which we can move forward. Our next question was the impact, or had to do with the impact on money. And the card that came up here was the Ace of Pentacles. This card tells us that the impact on our financial system would be the start of something entirely new that would lead to the creation of a new world, new ways of living, new technology, and new understandings of money. The Ace is always about new beginnings. And the advice of the Ace of Pentacles is to monitor your own situation carefully, following your inner guidance, while taking time to learn those things that will allow you to handle thorny issues and the financial changes that are occurring. And that is backed up even further by our last card, the impact on population. The card drawn here was the Strength card, and it carries both a message and a warning. The message is that the population must find the courage to face despotic leadership and abuse of power. Can I read that again? The message is that the population must find the courage to face despotic leadership and abuse of power. The advice is that it's time to set aside ego and competition and move to cooperation based on intuition and courage. The very strong warning is that we are in a time of life and death betrayal, where things are not what they seem. We are facing a major trial on the hero's journey and must discover the power of love to transform appearances while also confronting betrayal. A tall order for any population. So, in closing, any change in our understanding of the Bible, our history, and the presence of other types of humans will have a major impact on all of us and in every corner of life. Perhaps it's time for a change? A good change? Kind of like those changes that force your hand and you end up simplifying and deepening your life? Yeah. Have a wonderful month. And thank you for listening.